José Manuel Vassalo. I am professor on transport economics and policy at Universidad Politecnica de Madrid, Spain. And I'm going to talk about sustainability impact evaluation framework, description of the list of KPIs the living labs are using. I will deal with the following topics. First, I will make a description of the sustainability concept. After that, I will go through impact evaluation framework for last mile logistics. Then I will continue with the identification of impacts and indicators for last mile logistics. And I will end up with a set of conclusions. Let's start with the concept of sustainability. So the concept that we have heard so often nowadays was first designed, developed by the Brundtland Commission in 1987. Basically, it stated that sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The sustainability concept is, at the end of the day, a balance between or across a set of objectives, economic objectives, social objectives, environmental objectives, and a balance across generations, current and future generations. We want a balance across those objectives. At the end of the day, sustainability requires giving up something to reach a greater equilibrium with other objectives and future generations. The sustainability concept has been implemented nowadays through a set of sustainable development goals that have been promoted by United Nations. You see that the objectives of the LEAD project fall behind some of those sustainability goals, and particularly think about this number 11 of sustainable cities and communities. One of the key aspects of sustainability is being able of conducting an impact assessment evaluation. In other words, being able to assess the impacts compared to the previous situation and making sure that the new measure, the new policy, the new idea that the Living Lab is implementing, at the end of the day, comply with the set of requirements for sustainability. So the process that we implemented in the LEAD project goes from the identification of impacts indicators. First of all, it is necessary for the society to figure out which are the economic, social, and environmental goals the specific measure intends to achieve. Then we have to define, to set the before and after implementation scenarios. What is happening before? How did I deliver the package before? And how am I doing it now? Then we have to measure and assess the before and after situation. And at the end of the day, we will come up with a set of conclusions about the impacts produced by the specific value case. Of course, impact assessment is not so easy. It is complex because in some cases it requires the feedback from the stakeholders. It requires complex data collection and in some cases even forecasting. So for each one of the value cases of the LEAD project that I guess have been explained in previous lessons, each of them, they have a set of impacts on sustainability, on the environment, on social and economic aspects. In the case of environment, some of the improvements comes from the use of clean vehicles, or maybe because of a better organization of logistics that takes better advantage of the capacity of the vehicles, or just because the routes are shorter. As a consequence of that, environmental indicators focuses on aspects such as the reduction of pollution emissions, GHG emissions, and also noise. Social aspects, they have to do with crucial issues concerning the society, such as it is the case of job creation, quality of life in the neighborhoods, and so on and so forth. Finally, the economic side of sustainability is also crucial. It has to do with costs, with efficiency, with the profits of the company. The private sector has to be profitable for developing a business model. And that's what we evaluate in this project. To that end, in order to facilitate the measurement, it is crucial to define a set of very easy to measure KPIs, and also reflecting key aspects that the value case intends to achieve. In the case of environmental KPIs, the LEAD project has adopted 4 of them. First is about energy consumption. The second one is about GHG emissions. The third one is air pollution, that is split in different pollutants. And finally, the impact of noise. You see that each one of the KPIs has to be defined in a very specific way. For instance, for the case of noise, it is the people affected by a certain level of noise. By switching to cleaner vehicles, the noise is limited, and as a consequence of that, the quality of life of people living nearby will improve. With the social indicators, we have defined just 3: the amount of jobs created with the new value case, the new business models directly related to the living labs, then the quality of the jobs that measures the types of job created and to what extent they are jobs of good quality, and finally, the neighborhood quality of life. Finally, going through the economic KPIs, you see that we have defined different types. On the one hand, we focus on the business model with the average delivery cost of the business model, the financial internal rate of return, also indicators delivering the performance, such as delivery time, delivery reliability, and then the impact that the business model has on the economy. For instance, shop, retail benefits, and also on the community through congestion, and in the pedestrians and the quality of life of the neighborhood through urban storage and parking space. Finally, I'd like to conclude with some ideas. The first is that impact assessment evaluation of sustainability is a crucial aspect within the LEAD project, that this is based on KPIs linked to the environment, social, and economic areas. The KPIs will be used to assess the direct impact solution by comparing the baseline scenario with the after implementation, what is happening before and after. A suitable methodology for guiding in measuring the indicators and obtaining the data has been agreed within the project for each KPI. And finally, may you need more information regarding KPIs, you can find it in deliverables 1.4 and 3.1 of the LEAD project. Thank you very much for your attention. It has been a pleasure to show you that interesting presentation. May you have any question, please let me know.